Hi Truestreamers, welcome to our first virtual Truestream rally. My name is Julie and I have been with Great Lakes Energy and Truestream for about 10 years now in the communications and marketing department. First, I'd like to talk to you just a little bit about our Zoom meeting. You'll notice all of you are on mute. We can't hear what you're trying to say, but we do ask that you ask questions. If you have questions along the way, you can type them into the chat feature down below. And we'll answer those once we're done with our little introduction here. And we'll have a question and answer session. Anyone else that you might see come up with the meeting might help answer some questions. We're all Great Lakes Energy and Truestream employees. And I think that's important. We live and work in the communities that you live and work in. We're just like you guys. We're waiting for internet. Some of us have Truestream. Some of us are waiting. And we know how important it is to have that reliable high-speed connection because we're in the same boat as you guys. We need that as well. We started Truestream about 2 years ago because we listened to what you said in different surveys and things like that. We know that you guys need service. We started this to bring you the high-speed internet that you actually deserve. As I mentioned, most of our employees are also Truestreamers or future Truestreamers. So we know what we want as a consumer, and we want to give that to you too. We don't want data caps. We don't want time of use. We want to be able to use our internet anytime we want and how we want. If we want to game, if we want to work from home, if we have kids at home that are doing online school, we want that data. We want that speed to be there for you to use. And Truestream offers symmetrical upload and download speeds. We also offer vacation plans if you're a seasonal resident, and we have business plans as well. The first plan that we offer is our basic plan. That's 100 megabits per second. And we recommend 1 to 4 connected devices for that plan. If you have 5 to 9 connected devices, then we would recommend our family plan, which is 200 megabits per second. If you have 10 or more connected devices, then you might want to think about our Ultra plan, which is 1 gig. 10 devices might seem like a lot, but if you add in your smart home devices that maybe you didn't have but you want to have, maybe you want a Ring doorbell, maybe you want an Alexa, you have a Kindle, you have a tablet, you have a computer, you have a smart fridge that keeps track of your groceries for you, maybe you get that Wi-Fi crock pot. You know, the more devices that you have, the higher speed that you are going to need because each device takes a little bit of that speed away. And maybe you don't have that many devices, but think of what you could add if you wanted to, now that you will have a reliable, fast internet connection. We can also think about our internet speeds like a pizza party, and the more people that you invite to your pizza party, the more slices of pizza you're going to need. Each slice of pizza represents a device, and it takes a little bit of that bandwidth each time it's connected. So we need a bigger pizza with more pieces of pizza, the more people and the more devices that we have at the party. Let's talk for a second about the equipment that we offer. With every standard installation, we offer a router modem unit all-in-one. It might look like this, or it might look like this. This unit is what will provide the Wi-Fi to your home. You can also directly wire a computer, a gaming system, a TV, something like that into the back if you'd like that hardwired. We recommend putting the router in a centrally located area of your home, so a main floor in the middle. That will give you the best Wi-Fi coverage throughout the entire home. If you have a large home, if you have some interference happening in your home, we do also offer a Wi-Fi extender. That might look like this, or it could look like this. And that's an additional $5 per month that would be put on your bill per Wi-Fi extender. We do also offer a battery backup option as well. We recommend this if you take our voice services, and you can use it if you just have our internet service as well. If you're worried about a power outage and still having access to make phone calls or if you're worried about a power outage and still have access to the internet, then we do have two options of a battery backup that you can purchase. One lasts for up to 8 hours and looks like this. And the other lasts for 24 hours and looks like this. That's a one-time purchase. Once that is paid, you own that equipment. Thank you for watching our little introduction into Truestream and what we have to offer you. Up next, we are going to be going live and in person. You're going to get to see me answering any questions that you may have typed in the chat box below. If I need help answering those questions, we'll also loop in some other employees that may need to help answer those. After we've answered all of the questions that you have, we will move on to our streaming session.
Hi. We know here at Truestream, one of the biggest questions that we actually get is when. When are you going to be at my house? When are you going to be in my area? So we'd like to talk a little bit about construction and help, maybe answer some of those questions about how long it takes and when we're expecting to be installing in your area. So up first, if you don't know which area you're actually in and you've already registered your interest at jointruestream.com, we recommend going back to the website and logging into your dashboard, and that will let you know which area you're assigned to. If you haven't registered yet, we really recommend that you go register your interest. It's no obligation, and you will be put into an area at that point. Sometimes there's a little bit of confusion about our areas. They don't necessarily go by township or city or anything like that. It actually is based off of our electrical system. So that's how we get the fancy names that you're in. As we go through some of these construction slides as well, you'll notice that the map is colored. So we'll just give a little brief explanation about what those colors are. If you see your area is in yellow, that means that we have plans to build in your area, but maybe the construction just hasn't started quite yet. But it is definitely approved and on the radar. If your area is purple, that means that it's in construction right now. So our crews are busy getting the poles ready and doing the mainline construction to bring fiber to your house, to the network. If your area is a grayish blue color, that means that the mainline construction is primarily done and we're focusing on bringing the construction actually to your home. So if you have overhead service, the fiber will come overhead. If you have underground electrical service, then the fiber will come underground. And the process of bringing it from the mainline to your home, we often call the drop. So if you hear the term the drop, that's what that means. We're bringing it from the main line, maybe out by the road to the side of your house. And then if you're in our Petoskey service area here, you see the entire map is green. That means that construction's done. We're ready to install to anyone that registers. If you have registered after May 1st, however, construction may be delayed to your house. We've been in our Petoskey area working. We began in July of 2018, and our first connection was made in October of 2018, and now service is available to that entire region. If you're joining us from our Boyne City area and you're in the Boyne service area phase 1 section, so that includes our Boyne City 1, 2, and 3, Deer Lake 2 and 3, Advance 1 and 2. You guys have your networks are lit up and we can start doing the construction to your home and then in-home installations as well. Deer Lake 3, there's just a little bit of construction that needs to be completed there, and then we'll be able to change you guys over to the bluish gray color as well. We are asking that if you have not already to register your interest before December 1st and then complete any of the necessary documents by the 31st, so we know where you are, we know you're still interested, and you'll still receive that free in-home installation offer. Similarly, in our Boyne service area phase 2, we've begun mainline construction in a large portion of that. So if you're in our East Jordan, Central Lake, Eastport, or Barnard 2 or 3 areas. You've probably seen our crews out there working on the main line. They'll move on next to the Barnard 1 and then the Milton areas, and they'll progress through those. Once the main line's complete, they'll start doing the installations to the sides of the homes, and then we can begin the in-home installation. So if you're in our East Jordan areas, we expect that to begin really in early 2021. So in the winter, this coming winter. If you have overhead service, you may have that brought to you this winter. If it's underground, it'll probably be a little closer to the springtime once the ground has thawed. So for your area, we ask that you register by January 15th if you have not done so already at jointruestream.com. And then you complete the documents by February 15th to ensure that free in-home installation and to really let our crews know where the most interest is. Our Boyne service area phase 3, so our Corwith and our Elmira areas. You're going to start seeing the construction crews out your way beginning in 2021. So we're asking that you, if you have not done so already, register your interest before April 1st, and then return any completed documents by May 1st in order to ensure your free installation and home installation offer. Okay, so those are the areas we've announced previously that we were doing construction in. If you caught us near the beginning of this month, we also announced that we are going to begin construction in some of our more southern areas. So we'd like to just take a moment to talk about that as well and what will be happening down that way. So if you're joining us from our Hart service area, we're going to begin construction, the mainline construction, and they're doing it a little bit different. They're going to be doing the drop, so bringing the fiber directly to your home at the same time. So we really need you to register. We need to know who wants service in order to keep our construction crews efficient and to not delay the construction to your home. So if you're in our Shelby 4 area or our Rogers 4 area there, construction is going to begin in 2021 in January. So we're asking that you register by December 1st and then complete those documents that will get to you by the 31st. And that will help our crews know where they need to build to, and it will also ensure your free in-home installation as well. If you're joining us from our Newaygo service area, we expect our construction to begin in February of 2021. And that will be the same process. So we'll do the mainline construction, but we're going to simultaneously do the drops to the homes as well. So registering your interest in getting that paperwork is really important, so we can keep our crews moving along and make sure that you get your service. So if you're in our Broman 2 or our White Cloud 3 areas, we're asking that you register by January 15th if you haven't already, and then return those documents that will get to you by February 15th. And that will ensure your free in-home installation and keep you in the correct construction process there so that doesn't get delayed for you. If you're joining us from our Wayland service area, we've announced construction in our Middleville 1 and our Wayland 4 areas. And that's set to begin in March of 2021. So similar to Hart and Newaygo, we'll be doing the mainline construction through the areas, and at the same time, we'll be doing the construction to the home as well. So we're asking that you register your interest by April 1st, and then complete the documents by May 1st in order to ensure that free installation and make sure that you don't get delayed in the construction process. So jointruestream.com is where we're asking you to go register. It's pretty simple. You just need to enter your address if you haven't already, and then we'll ask you a few questions as well. There's no obligation, so you can register your interest. No contracts or anything like that as well. So once your area is ready, we'll send out the documents, and we hope that you return those. Okay. We'll just talk for a moment here about streaming as well, and then we'll answer some questions that Lacey's Manning down in the chat function there. So there are different ways to watch TV. If you want to cut the cord, you may need a device to do that. Where currently, if you have a traditional cable or satellite, you would have a receiver box. If you want to get rid of that, then that's called cutting the cord, and you might need a streaming device. So if you have a smart TV, when you turn it on, the apps come down near the bottom of the screen usually, and you can use that. If you don't have a smart TV, I don't own a smart TV actually, but I made it smart by buying a Roku and a Fire Stick. I have one of each for each of my TVs. You know, we've listed here just a few of the options that we have that are out there for streaming. We don't necessarily promote one over the other. It's kind of a personal preference, but we do have information on our website about each device a little bit, just so you can decide for yourself which you think is the best option. So what the streaming device does is turns your TV into a smart TV. It's like a little mini computer. So when you plug that into your TV, then you will have access to all of the apps that are available from streaming services, and you'll use that to get your TV. We've also, on our website, we have a little information about the most popular streaming services that are out there. Again, we don't necessarily recommend any certain one. It can get pretty personalized depending on your viewing habits. A lot of people are familiar with Netflix and Hulu. We know that those are mostly for original programming, or you can watch network television on Hulu maybe a day later if you don't have Hulu Live. If you do want live TV, we have some options for that. If you're concerned about local channels too, we know a lot of people like to watch the local news. There are options out there as well for that. Disney Plus is a big one that's fairly new, and the Friendly TV we have on there because we know a lot of people ask about the Hallmark channel, and that's one that offers the Hallmark channel for a pretty reasonable price. You can see the starting prices on here, gives a little bit more information about what those services offer. And again, this is available on our website at truestreamfiber.com if you want to get a better look at this sheet as well. Okay, so I mentioned that local TV or live TV is pretty important to a lot of people, and that makes them nervous if they want to cut the cord. So we have, this is through a website called cnet.com, and it kind of gives an overview. This is just a snapshot of it, but it does give an overview of the top 100 channels that they chose and which live TV streaming services offer those channels. So you can get a little bit of an idea of, you know, maybe I can't live without A&E, so I can go across the screen here and see which of the streaming services offer the networks that I'm looking for. Again, this is not ours. We have a link to it from our frequently asked questions page on truestreamfiber.com, and we'll have a link to it as well on our Facebook page or in our video as well, if you want to see the full spreadsheet for this. Okay, so now I think we'll take questions. If Lacey has any that popped up that are general that we need to answer for everyone.
Yeah, Julie, we're getting some questions about the battery backup. So this question might be more for Dale, but they're wondering, you know, if they have a generator, do they need a battery backup? Or if there's anything to reset after, if they do have the battery backup and their power goes out.
Sure, Dale, did you want to take that question? Dale's our supervisor of our installation techs and our fiber reps.
Yep, I sure can. Hi, everyone. So battery backup will give you power to supply your devices. Typically phone, you definitely want to look at with voice over internet phone. If you lose your power, your phone will go out, unlike a traditional landline. With the generator, obviously that is your backup. when the generator kicks on, your power comes back on, which will power those devices. So I would say it's not necessary to utilize a battery backup if you do have a generator. I would recommend though that, especially if you're in an area that loses power quite frequently, and hopefully you're all Great Lakes Energy customers and that doesn't happen to you, but it is recommended that you do take advantage of that battery backup from us. We do have them available. Like Julie had said earlier, you do purchase those and they do become yours. And there's an 8-hour, up to an 8-hour, and up to a 24-hour battery available.
Thanks, Dale. Kind of following that up, we have questions about routers and if they need to purchase their own router and if the routers we offer parental controls.
Yes, so a couple questions or a couple answers there to that. So we do offer a router. It does give you, when you use our router, it does give us a managed Wi-Fi experience for you. In other words, we can provide you with support for that router without actually having to come out to the house. We do have members that have a preference to use their own router. And we do allow that. What we would supply then is a modem. Keep in mind though that we don't manage member-owned devices that we don't supply. So in other words, we would make sure that to that modem that there's service coming in, and then you would take it from there to attach your own router, and you would manage your own router's capability from that point on.
Thank you. And just kind of a last question about batteries. Are the backup batteries, are they rechargeable?
So they plug right into the wall. So they're charging all the time. And then when the power goes out, obviously that's where the battery takes over to power your device.
Great. The next question's about voice services from Truestream. How do we handle a phone transfer from one company to Truestream? Are we able to do that?
Yes, so we can port a number from other carriers. Basically, there is a form that has to be filled out, and that form is a letter of agency giving us permission to take over that number from your current carrier. It does take 10 business days to be able to port that number over. So it definitely is possible. I know there's a couple areas, and Chris Barber, who I believe is on the call, could probably answer. There is 1 or 2 small areas which we are not able to port those numbers over due to the carrier that provides service there. But that is a very small area. And Chris, if you're on, maybe you could discuss that.
Yeah, hi Dale. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Chris Barber. So I think it could be best defined as if you are currently with Frontier, AT&T, or CenturyLink, we would have the ability to take that number. If you had already moved away from those 3 carriers to a company like Spectrum, we can also port that number back. So we do have quite a bit of flexibility. I would estimate 99% of us on this call today could take their number with them, and we're able to, on a one-on-one basis, help you determine that.
Thanks, Chris. We're kind of moving now into questions about upload download speeds. Could we talk a little bit more about the speed within your house and how your speed is your speed?
Sure. With fiber, we have symmetrical upload and download speed. So with traditional copper or DSL, you're kind of sharing that connection with whoever your neighbor is, maybe that has it as well down your road. And we have a true fiber line directly to your home. So if you sign up for the 100 plan, the basic plan, then you'll be seeing speeds of 100. If you sign up for the 200, it'll be 200. The gig usually tops out really around 940, I believe. But there are some other factors that come into play with that as well. And it's not just about speed, it's really about the bandwidth. So you need more bandwidth the more devices that you have running concurrently. So if I'm upstairs at my house streaming TV and looking at my phone at the same time. My husband's downstairs watching TV and looking at his phone. And then I have 3 beautiful girls that are all on iPads or Kindles watching shows or playing games. Then that's quite a few devices that we have all running at the same time, and they're all taking a little bit of that speed away. So you want to make sure you have enough speed to actually power all of those devices. The device age also plays a factor. If it's a, an old desktop from 2000, it's probably not going to get as good of a speed as an updated device. And then there are some other factors as well, like mirrors and metal material within your house that can block Wi-Fi signals as well. So if you're not getting good signal in a certain area of your house, that's when we really recommend the Wi-Fi extender that we have.
Thanks, Julie. We're now moving into some construction questions. Specifically, how do we get the fiber line to the house? Is it buried? Is it overhead? Could you speak to that?
Yep. So if we're going to try and follow the path that your electric takes now. So if your electric is underground to your house, then your fiber line will be underground as well. If you have overhead service, then the fiber line will come in overhead as well. I think I saw a question about flags in the winter. We're not as worried about the mistig with overhead, but obviously we don't want to hit anything or be near that. But overhead construction is easier to accomplish during the winter, obviously, than trying to get anything underground with the lovely amounts of snow that we usually receive each year. So the primary plan is to follow the path that your electric is taking.
Arvin Nelson here was wondering, are you providing DOCSIS 3.1 modems?
Julie, I could try to answer that. Ms. Barber. DOCSIS is a technology used by cable companies for their coaxial networks. So quite a bit differently, what we actually do is provide a fiber modem. So we'll actually have an optical network termination. So we're bringing the actual fiber optic glass into your home and terminating on what we call an ONT, or optical network terminal.
Thanks, Chris. We're now moving into, sorry, just lost my spot. They also want to know about, could you speak to the fiber cable itself? Is it, wrapped? How does that work, getting that fiber line to your home?
Well, the fiber line is definitely wrapped. We have some standards that we need to meet based on our climate and our area. So the cables, the fiber lines also vary depending on where that fiber is. So if it's our main line construction, that fiber is going to be quite a bit larger than coming into your house. You have one strand of fiber that's dedicated directly to you. So the fiber line is coated. There's a Kevlar coating in there as well, I believe, to withstand, the snow, ice, wind, all of that type of stuff that we get in our lovely Michigan winters and falls and the blustery days.
We also, Julie, have a bunch of seasonal people, and do we offer vacation packages or seasonal packages?
We do have a vacation rate. When you register, you'll want to still register for whichever plan you're interested in. And then when you maybe leave for the winter, or if you come back for skiing or something like that, you'll just want to give us a call and let us know, and we can get you on that vacation plan. There are a couple of requirements there. You have to have had service for at least 1 month before you can go on the vacation plan. And then we do require that you still maintain a power source to the router while you're gone. So you can't just completely shut off all of your breakers. We need to be able to know that that modem router is still functioning. So our vacation plan is enough to power maybe a couple video cameras, so you can still have those and keep an eye on your location. And that's $25 a month for the internet. And there are voice vacation plans as well.
And there is a maximum of 6 months per calendar year.
Thanks, Dale and Julie. Still getting questions about the router. Is there special home wiring when it comes to the router? And another person wants to know, does it need to be reset with a battery backup? For example, if they have a Wi-Fi furnace thermostat, do they need to reset their router?
So the fiber comes right into the router. We bring fiber right from that mid box, that gray box, right to the router is with fiber. Power goes out. In most cases, we found that no rebooting of the router is necessary, but we have had some where we've had to reboot, and I've never had to reboot mine. And I've had 2 power outages. I don't know if Julie, or can you answer on your end? But I have never had to do that. But that's not to say that there is a chance it could.
Right. I've never had to reboot either at my house.
Great.
Was there another part of that question, Lacey, that I missed?
I think, sorry, I did provide you a 2-parter, didn't I? Is there any special wiring required to install the fiber into the home? So would they have to provide their own wiring?
No, no. We provide all the wiring. Now, if obviously they can hardwire devices up. The Calix equipment can handle up to 4 hardwired devices. So after their initial install, if they decide that they want to maybe hardwire a television in instead of using Wi-Fi, a Cat 5e or a Cat 6 cable could be wired to the router from their device.
Great. And then back to the router again. Do we offer parental settings?
So Chris, you want to take that one? Because we've...
Hi, yes, this is actually a very timely question. So I'll say we're hard at work as a management team, evaluating how we can bring that service forward. We think we've heard from quite a few members that they would find value in that. So we've identified a path forward. We're discussing it, and I can't put a time frame on it, but it is an active conversation today.
Thanks, Chris. Let's go a little bit to fiber outages. We have a question. If it's connected pole to pole, is the repair time as quick with our electric outages? Maybe more a question for construction.
What I can say that I know is our fiber lines although fiber is made of glass, it actually stretches pretty far. So there may even be instances where a tree comes down on a line and it breaks our electric line, but the fiber line is kind of just stretched way down. So you may still actually have service there. As far as restoration times, we do have teams that, check that out and go out and get that, but restoring electricity would be priority over restoring the fiber.
Thanks, Julie. Can you go over maybe one more time? We have lots of questions. When are you coming to my address? So for questions like that, what can the member do?
Sure. We, as I kind of mentioned earlier, it's really important that you know which area you're in. And again, you can find that on jointruestream.com. You can either look at the areas tab and zoom in on that map. It's kind of an interactive map there. Or you can log back into your account there and view your dashboard so you know which area you're in. And then every month we provide an update on construction and timelines on our blog post, our news section of truestreamfiber.com. So that's a really good resource to go check that out and see what kind of progress we're making. And that changes. We update that once a month, but obviously construction is going on every day and in-home installations are going on every day. I just had to update the maps at 4 o'clock yesterday for this presentation because our construction crews are making progress out there and moving on to the next areas. So it does change quite frequently, but we do have the general estimates and timelines by area out there at least once a month. And again, that's truestreamfiber.com, and there's the news and events section. It's in the news section. And we post that, when we post that to the website, we also share it on our Facebook page. If you haven't gone to like our Facebook page, I recommend it. It's, we have a couple people that moderate that, but it's, you know, we have a little bit of fun with that while keeping it informational for you as well.
Thanks, Julie. You spoke about it earlier, but could you go over maybe the Wi-Fi extender again if someone wanted to extend their signal, you know, a couple 100 feet from the house to, you know, maybe a freestanding building or the fire pit?
Yep, so we do offer Wi-Fi extenders. Right now you can have up to 4 of them. So if you have a large house, if there's maybe some construction materials that are blocking something, you might need an extender to get that, to basically just repeat that Wi-Fi signal out there. So we recommend placing your router in a centrally located position to give you the best access through the whole home. But if you maybe want it to reach out to your fire pit out back, or you know, out on your front porch or something, and you're not getting as good of a signal, we do have that Wi-Fi extender available as well. It's $5 per month per extender.
One thing I will add to that as well for some clarification. So the device, the router can handle up to 4. However, they are not stackable. So basically you can't put one out 100 feet and then put another one 100 feet and then another 100 feet thinking you're going to get single 300 feet out. That does not work that way. So if you wanted 4, you'd obviously put them kind of in a square, 4 corners of that router to extend a wider range. It's not that it's going to be a farther range, but a wider range.
On the router, Dale, can you share the make and manufacturer of the router?
So our Calix router is an 844G.
Thank you. Now, let's say, you know, they have their Truestream installed finally. Do we offer any tutorials on streaming?
We do have a tech squad available that can come help walk you through the streaming if you need assistance with that. And we are talking about creating a video as well that goes a little more in depth into the streaming session, but we're not quite there yet.
Another question we have is in regard to construction. Let's say a member has underground construction, but they would like it to have an overhead because of something like a river or woods that are very thick. Are we able to change that path?
We ask that most people return a site plan. If we need to, we can meet with you and discuss, you know, the specifics of your own installation process and where that fiber line might need to go. And just to clarify, as far as the outage information again, if there's a fiber outage with the electrical outage, then we'll assess that situation and try and get both restored at the same time as quickly as we can. If there's, you know, if the fiber line is stretched out but still operational, then that might take a little bit different of a turn, but we will try and assess the situation and get both restored simultaneously when we can.
Thanks, Julie. If the map states that they are in service, how can they find out when they'll actually be installed?
Well, installations we're doing by each area, so that's done in part to keep our techs available near each other so they can install as many as they can in one day, and they're not driving across the entire county to get people connected. So when we're scheduling for your area, then we'll give you a call to actually schedule that in-home installation. And the in-home installation takes between 1 to 3 hours generally. And you do need to be there for the entire thing. To get an idea of how close you are to that, I would recommend going back to the blog on truestreamfiber.com, the construction news section, and checking out your area.
Thanks, Julie. We're moving into some more higher technical questions. So Chris or Sean, these may be questions for you, but someone wants to know, can you set your hardware to test the modem to relay to an internal router to maintain current configurations within the home?
This is Chris. I'll do my best to provide an answer to that, and if it's not clear, we'll give it another shot. But we do have subscribers and members that do wish to operate their own equipment in their home, and they're welcome to do that. We'll usually ask you when setting up your installation appointment if that's the case, and all you need to do is notify us. And we'll come out with only a fiber modem, and we would not then deploy a Wi-Fi system that would contend with your own home network. Lacey, how did I do? Did that address the majority of the question, all of it?
I think it did. We're not getting a follow-up, but if we do, I can follow that up. Kind of piggybacking that, if you're technical and know how to manage a network and have an existing network, can they use the provided router as a modem to forward existing router?
Again, I think probably the best answer to that, and we can discuss this more technically, maybe through an alternate means. But if there is Wi-Fi that you have or devices that you have that are broadcasting an SSID or Wi-Fi, what is going to be your best option is for us to only supply the fiber modem so that we're not contending with the airspace available for the Wi-Fi. So if you have multiple Wi-Fi networks, they can collide and provide a degraded service. So it's often best to only have one Wi-Fi network in your home.
Thanks, Chris, for that. Julie, I know we have a streaming session after this, so I wanted to be a little cognizant of time. So maybe one last question we have is, do we offer any aid for canceling current service from a provider? I'm there.
We currently do not have any buyout type things in place for current contracts. We ask that you, if you know we're coming to your area, then you be a little bit cognizant of when your contract is up and see if maybe you don't have to renew it for 2 years. You could do a shorter time length or something like that. And we can give you, if you go back to the blog, it will give you a little estimate of when we might be in that area to give you an idea of when that contract should be held through.
Great. If people have questions after this session, where can they reach out?
Well, up on the screen here, we have our email address. Our general email address is info@truestreamfiber.com. You can also give us a call at our normal number, 1-888-485-2537. And then you can always check out our Facebook page, our Instagram page. And as I said, we'll have the recording of this up on our YouTube page as well.
Great. I need to clarify again, we have done the streaming session, so we still do have a few more minutes for any more questions if anyone wants to send those in. While we're waiting, Julie, do you want to maybe speak to the importance of registering on time once more?
Yep, we're encouraging everyone to register by the dates that we've provided, and you'll receive more communications regarding those too. But as we move forward, as we learn and grow as a company too, we've learned that, to be most efficient, we need to keep our crews all in the same area as long as we can and get everything done while we can. So It's important that you register. That way we know which area actually has the most interest. It's encourage your neighbors and your friends and your family members too to register their interest. Sorry, my timer on my lights went off, sorry. Register their interest as well, so we know when we come through for construction that we can build the main line, we can build the drop to your house, the connection from that main line to the side of your house at the same time. We can have our crews in the area all together, and then they can move on and down. I know sometimes we also get questions, they'll see the construction come through and they think that they don't go totally down their road and we're skipping them, and I can guarantee we're not. There's different ways that they build that fiber. You'll see different equipment on the poles. They know whether or not you've registered and if we need to bring service to your house. So it's important that you register by the timelines that we provide. It's important that you get that paperwork back to us as well, so we know exactly where we need to build.
Great. So we all know winter is coming upon us all too soon, and we do have a question about, do we continue installs through the winter or do installs stop with frost lines? So I think they might mean construction, but maybe you can speak to both.
Sure. In-home installations definitely will not stop during winter. We can still move forward with those. As far as the construction, it is harder to do underground work once the ground has frozen. So that's why, especially in our Boyne Phase 2 area, you see a lot of the underground stuff going on right now. You'll see the orange conduit. We want to get as much of that done as we can before the ground freezes. And the same goes for the installations to your home as well. If you're underground, we're trying to get as many of those right now as we can. And we're just hoping, you know, the weather keeps cooperating and we can go into it another month or so. If you have overhead service, that's fairly easy for us to still accomplish during the winter. We can bring the line from the road, from the main line to the side of your house overhead. There's no underground construction needed, so we still will be able to move forward with the underground, or the overhead construction during the winter months.
And I'll just tag a little bit on that too, what Julie had said regarding the conduit. So, and obviously the crews are trying to get as much underground conduit in as they can. That does not mean the fiber will be following immediately. In ideal conditions, that's what we try to do. But right now the concern is to get that underground conduit in quickly, and then the fiber will follow. It's just might not be, it might be a month, several months before they come back to run that fiber. So just because they put the conduit in, yes, it's getting closer, but it's still, there's quite a little bit of work left to do. So don't panic.
On that note of, you know, you get the box on your house, when can you expect your paperwork? Should a member be concerned if they haven't received it yet?
Run that by me one more time, Lacey.
We have a member asking, you know, they've said that they haven't received their paperwork yet. So I think the construction.
Depending on what zone. So we have not sent out obviously any paperwork yet for the Hart, Newaygo, that areas yet. Right now, the current zones that anything in the Boyne City 1, BC 1, Advanced, Deer Lake, all the paperwork for the most part has been sent out. East Jordan and Central Lake, we're currently writing those and sending those out currently. And of course, all the Petoskey zone.
Thank you. Do we offer a static IP address?
Yes, we do. Those are additional costs per month. And we do have that 1, 5, or 14 for the static IPs that we offer.
And then I do have a question. How close are we to install if we have submitted the plotting of our property? Just a ballpark.
if you've submitted I couldn't catch that, Lacey.
The site plan.
Again, that's kind of a tricky one because it depends on the area and what part of the construction process. Obviously, getting the paperwork in a timely manner is important because that the design and construction can begin. We have it on hand. Certain zones, it can be several months before the construction, especially in the southern areas where we are going to change it up a little bit, and some of those drops to the homes will occur at the same time the main line is being ran. And that area cannot be lit up, obviously, until the entire main line is completed. So in that particular area, the drops may be done, and it could be several months before they'll be eligible for service yet, before we'll have service to those homes.
Great. I think that kind of wraps up our questions for now. They've kind of trickled off.
Okay, well, I think we'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. It was our first try at this. I think it was fairly successful. As I said, the recording will be available as well. And we'll make sure that's up this afternoon if you want to go back and look again, or if you think of any other questions that you might have, we're available through email, info@truestreamfiber.com. We're available on phone at 1-888-485-2537. And then you can always hop over to our Facebook page and ask us questions on there as well.